by the time you see this, you might not actually be able to buy one of these. It's a special edition Volkswagen Amarok called the 10 Deserts Edition. It's based on the second from the bottom Life variant. Just 300 set to be made, and they all come with a number of enhancements to improve off-road capability. One such enhancement is the 40mm lift kit package. Now you can get this as an official accessory on any Amarok anyway, so even if you don't get one of the 300 of these being made, you can option up any variant of the Amarok to receive the same suspension upgrade. It's also got some protection plates underneath, all-terrain tyres, and a tonneau cover on the back with a black sports bar. So for this review, I thought I'd just test out the off-road capability here at this hill climb. It has been raining lately, so it is a little bit wet. I want to mainly attack the beast section on the left-hand side, but we'll run up these two sections just to see how it goes. With the all-terrain tyres, it should be able to grip in. As I've said before, it's not that it's you know, really boggy mud. It's actually not too bad in the wet because it's just covered in rocks. There's just rocks everywhere, and the water sort of runs down the hill anyway. But even so, it is still more slippery than it is in the dry. The special edition comes with the now discontinued 2-litre twin-turbo diesel 4-cylinder engine, 154 kilowatts, 500 newton meters. This incorporates the wet belt engine design. It's matched to a 10-speed automatic, and unlike the V6 models, it doesn't come with a full-time four-wheel drive system. There's no 4A mode. You've just got 2H, 4H, and 4L. It does come with a rear diff lock though. And if it makes it up, I think it will be one of the only, or maybe the only model that I've taken up, factory vehicle that I've taken up that doesn't come with a front diff lock. So all the others, like the Tank 500, the 70 Series Land Cruiser, the Jeep Gladiator, they've all got front and rear diff locks. This has just got the rear. Let's see how it goes. All right, so firstly, we'll just go up the easier section, put it into 4H, see how we go. I haven't touched the stability control button or the rear diff lock. I'm just going to go up in 4H and see how it handles it with the all-terrain tyres. So I have taken a Ford Ranger up here in 4A, and it drove up, although it was dry, whereas now it is a bit wet. You can hear the traction control clicking away. It's going to grab. Yes, just grabs. We got up there in 4H in the wet. Now going over this section, there's a big drop off on the right hand side. It's probably about 1 meter high. With the raised clearance, it should do quite well. Yeah, the rear wheel feels like it's off the ground a bit. Side step's not getting close at all. Yeah, very good. Does look like it's going to start pouring down soon. I did hear some thunder before, but we should be able to sneak in just before that happens. So now we'll try out 4L, and we'll lock the rear diff. Got symbols up there, rear diff's locked, and it's in 4L. The stability control has turned off or gone into its own mode. I haven't touched the button. Let's see how easy it does it now. Nice and gentle. I'm not picking the best line. I'm just going to let it go up the same line I always take, which, you know, puts a bit of stress underneath the or under the flexibility and all that. But that's just pulled up no problem. As you can see there, it's a little bit damp underneath. Like on the surface, it looks normal, just all rocky. But then, yeah, once you dig in a little bit, it's where it gets a bit more slippery. So going back down, we'll hit descent control. Descent control ready. So it's just gonna, that's feet off the brakes. It's just gonna control all the wheels for an easy decline down this hill. It's actually doing really well. It's not it doesn't seem like it's reactive. It's sort of maintaining a nice steady speed. It's not waiting for it to roll down and then catching it. It's just providing them, just looking at that rear wheel to see if it's skidding at all. Yeah, it's providing good consistent control all the way down. Okay, now the right hand side. So this is going to be really good to test out the extra ground clearance, 275 millimeters now with the lift kit. So it should do well to get over these humps, which again might not look that serious on camera, but they're quite steep. And usually I hear at least the brackets for the side steps scraping out. Let's have a listen. Yeah, that's really good. I didn't even touch. Straight up, no problem whatsoever. So the extra clearance definitely helps out there. Okay, the beast, let's see how we go up this. I've still got it in low range, I've got the rear diff locked. I haven't touched the stability control button. So these little cutaways or moguls have been washed away a little bit in the rain, I think. It's nice and easy. This is where I usually get caught in some vehicles. Yes, come on, come on, come on, come on. It's about half throttle now, full throttle. It's just spinning a little bit. Might just have to use a tiny bit of momentum just to get us over that initial edge. I don't want to launch it, that's not what my testing is all about. Problem is I'm just digging a sharper hole. You might not be able to see it there, but it's just a step and it's perfectly like a chock for a wheel. I might just try and steer over to the left a little bit. Come on, come on. There we go. And yes. It didn't even scrape out the middle or anything, like the diff. Usually they just snag out a little bit on the chassis rails or the diff. That's just driven up there. It was struggling a little bit with traction, as you'd expect, because of that step and it's a bit wet, but overall very, very good. You can spec your Amarok exactly like this, so don't worry that it's a special edition. Just get the 40mm lift kit and all-terrain tyres and it should perform pretty much exactly the same. I actually quite like the base spec with the cloth seats. Nice seats in the front actually. They've got nice big bolsters for the side to hold you in. It just comes with the smaller touch screen and a few less features than upper spec models. All right, let's head off now onto the road and just see how it handles. Is there a compromise with the lift kit? I'll do a quick 0 to 100 test as well. Out on the road, it feels pretty much the same as the regular Amarok. And as you may have heard me say before, I think the Amarok and the platform sharing Ranger offer the kind of best ride and handling of this dual cab ute segment. Obviously it's not a sports car, but going down a nice winding road like this, it just feels comfortable. The turn in is neutral and it's nice and flat. There's no excess body roll. and the ride is not too jiggly but not too soft. With the suspension lift kit, it feels pretty much the same. I mean, you do get the sense you're higher off the ground than the regular Amarok, and I guess you've got a higher center of gravity, but all in all, it's basically identical. In terms of fuel economy, I'm averaging 10 litres per 100 in this example. That's over a distance of 200 kilometres. But as I said, this engine is being discontinued, so you do have to step down to the single turbo 2 litre or up to the slightly thirstier 3 litre V6 turbo diesel. In terms of 0 to 100, we'll just give it a quick test. I won't do the full performance test. Got the V-Box on there. I'll leave it in the rear-wheel drive mode. I've got the ESC off as well. Let's just see how it goes. And that's 100. Let's just have a look. That looks like it's done 9.73. That's not too bad at all, considering this isn't the V6, it's just the 2 litre bi-turbo.